fokussen. Und der hier, dann ist Strong Side 6, wird jetzt leider vom Tower weggesohnt.
Das ist krass. Währenddessen auch Botlane gespielt, das heißt, jemand gerade auf 3 Lanes Druck und versucht die Wave wegzuziehen, damit T1 weg vom Turm muss, aber er kann es nicht die Ewigkeiten tanken.
Nope.
Das ist strong.
Das ist echt insane. Das ist richtig gut. Und vor allem, schaut auf die Minimap. T1 hat Vision auf Jun. Das heißt, Guma und Kelia wissen, ihm kann nichts passieren. Die können das weitermachen. Er nimmt jetzt CW, er sprengt sich jetzt rüber. Aber er hat trotzdem so viel verloren. Oh, da ist der Dragon.
Der Dragon wird gemacht, Junge.
Auch wenn Six nach vorne rennt, kann sogar gearrowed werden. Muss aufpassen, er spielt ja keinen Cleanse. Jetzt also gleich Guma sein gesamtes Level über Elk drüber. Es passt Level 7, by the way. Noch gleich das.
Warum mache ich den Job hier? Ich will doch was bewegen. Aber dafür kann ich hier beim Zocken gegen das Böse kämpfen. Endboss.
Hey, hier ist der Endboss. Du bist noch im Call.
Indeed, statt Ausreden. Finde
Ist sie
den
dumm?
Job, der wirklich zu dir passt. Mit Indeed hast du's im Griff.
In the end, Faker does manage to escape, doesn't burn the flash, and holds on to that summoner.
And I mean, what I'm talking about, things can look good from the perspective of BLG. T1 have been able to secure all these early objectives. Kobe was already highlighting the fact that the early investment in the grubs, their skirmishing potential of the composition, and the fact that Zeus is actually, even with all that pressure, still a level up, and he has a huge stacked wave on the bot side of the map. He's very comfortable in terms of gold, so I think that T1 definitely still have avenues, even though things aren't looking great for them in the early game.
Yeah, in the 1 versus 1 down there. Had a huge wave for himself at the tower as well to collect, so even though the rest of BLG getting kills onto him, in the 1 versus 1, feels pretty decent for himself.
T1 do have those pick tools as well, so even if you do start to fall behind a little bit, you've got the arrow, you've got the follow-up with the equalizer, you have Faker jumping in with the abscond that duck just like this.
Miss.
Side step. Faker dashing forward for a little bit more damage, using that passive to its full effect, steals away the Mega Inferno Bomb.
Oh mein Gott, er macht Flash! Aber er kriegt jetzt trotzdem.
Dies is hunting season for Faker in the top lane.
He just runs him down, even with the first chain missing. Conquer stacked up. Thank you for the ultimate.
Echt stark, Digga.
Finishes the job himself. Now, Shun will just get there a little bit later. Not going to have any sort of kill threat as far as damage goes, so no harm, no foul, though. Again, these Ziggs with the teleport, he can get back to the minions at the very least.
I mean, what a confidence booster for T1 as well. To see Faker getting a solo kill on the side lane has to reignite the T1 members and the T1 fandom as Carrier now in danger.
Caught out with the quickness alongside that Glacial Prison Carrier, though still has 150 HP to work with here. Hostile takeover only hits onto Shun. Guma starts to open up and put the arrows in the back of that board. Shun able to walk away, though Guma really doesn't have too much damage yet.
And we've come back to the game plan overall for T1 here with this composition. They want to stack these Void Grubs, get that bonus to be able to take down a lot of these towers, open up areas to then make their signature hits on the map by denying vision and using Ash arrows.
Faker, his ultimate is going to be available soon. Zeus has the TP and the ulti available. TP available
So, okay,
as well. Owner has found Jun.
Faker auch am Start.
Here will use it to get away. You knew the steadfast presence was coming from Owner. Stops any dashes in its area, and so On has to burn the flash. Use the blink instead of one of Rakan's many dashes.
Knight too far away from the play, now making his way down, but Faker controlling the river, trying to force On back. The arrow isn't quite going to connect, and that is looking to be 6 grubs for T1, so part 1 of the plan coming true, Kobe.
Exactly. Even though BLG getting
Warum
some
haut der
extra
andere?
early kills in the lane swap and in the side lane, T1 still. Let's see if they can actually get the 6th one here. It is actually kind of important to get the double Void Might spawn. Should be able to, no problem. Nobody around to smite steal.
okay.
And they will secure that very good objective. We have seen how quickly you can get tower gold.
Shun hovering around the bot side of the map. There's a potential play onto Zeus on the rumble, but there's no way for him to really play through. Instead, the rest of T1 is going to look to reset. You can see the Elk benefiting from finding those early kills onto Zeus, but after losing his life on Gumayushi, kind of playing the map well, he's been able to close that gold gap thanks to the CS advantage that he's been able to find. And we find ourselves in a neutral game state, 12.5 minutes into game 4.
Tiny gold lead for BLG. You can see Shun about 500 gold ahead, the bot side about 200 gold ahead each as well, but as close to neutral as you can get in this series. T1 though do have the neutrals themselves, those 6 grubs and the Drake. Next Drake up in 40 seconds time. You see Carrier pathing through that bot side jungle, hoping to get vision towards that Dragon Pit. They'll use the mid prio and then they'll move T1 down towards that bottom side to make sure they can control that bot side river.
And BLG, they have so much wave control. Ziggs in the mid lane, have the Smolder Versailles on top side.
Oh, okay, der Gang. Oh mein Gott! Er kommt weg! Oh, jetzt werden sie gefickt. Zeiss, was machst du?
Might have to flash the wall here. Ono on that front line, locked up with the quickness. He dives onto Elk. Yushi caught up. Elk falling low though, and the flame spit is enough to burn him down in the river. And now
oh mein Gott!
begin to turn on the afterburners. Shun has the flash across, dash
Ah, er kommt weg!
Yushi can't quite get down with the body.
Oh! Ew!
He will not let you escape. And now On has to dance away with that grand entrance. Carrier looking for a little bit more. Yushi
Ah, stark. Break kriegen sie auch, wichtig. Oh, und die Plates auch noch. Auch big.
A massive play for T1. Ona setting things up by getting that collapse onto Bin. The follow-up from the rest of T1 as well as BLG tried to collapse onto T1, thinking that they'd overstayed their welcome on the bottom lane, but they're able to turn the play around thanks to the arrival of Yushi and Carrier. T1 looking strong here in game 4.
Oh, wir sind Herald.
off there, resets off there. Deaths immediately trying to get out onto the map and take this Rift Herald away because they know if T1 get the Rift Herald alongside 6 Grubs, that is a tower-taking machine. Faker's here to check though, and the rest of T1 are making their advance through the mid lane. On and Shun in the pit. The Rift Herald down to 2000 HP.
Oh, Poppy Star hat das Smite ready?
The Rift Herald still sitting at 2000.
Oh mein Gott!
T1 will close it and slam the door as well in BLG space.
Oh. Einfach gestealt das Ding. Go easy.
Securing the Rift Herald, forcing BLG back. They can look to drop that mid if they want. The Ziggs wave clear is going to be so obnoxious, so they're not going to look to use it on this wave. Come back to a crucial point. BLG's composition have a lot of tools to stall, so securing that Rift Herald is going to help T1 unlock these towers and keep the pressure up.
Game plan moving ahead here. Faker deep into enemy territory, finding On.
No.
Blastcone will get on to safety. Faker just dashes back.
But again, now is where we're going to see the real acceleration for the side of T1. With Rift Herald plus the full 6 Scrubs, you can drive the Herald in for the extra Void Might spawns there, immediately move up, snowball all of this money.
Wo packen sie den Herald aus?
So many of the games in this series is such an acceleration at this point, the mid point of the game for the team that did get the early lead.
Jetzt Herald raus, Tower weg, schön weggedived. Aber das machen die auch ohne Herald. Oh, ich glaube, sie fucken rein. Oh mein Gott, sie kacken rein. Oh. Oh mein Gott, was macht Digga?
And just like that, BLG punished the aggression from T1. Trying not to lose any momentum. They set their sights on the top tier 1, but BLG denied them access.
Ey, ich sag, mit dem Herald wär's gewesen.
That play right there might change the course of this series. BLG with Knight on the front lines with his Trinity Force Smolder completed. Well, they're trying to answer mid here.
Die Minions sind doch gleich tot. Oh, sie kriegen den.
Minion wave because of the Void Mites. T1
Digga, jetzt ab, ein Hit.
Just can't quite finish the tower though.
But Ben with some crucial playmaking there, getting a beautiful ultimate off onto 2 members of T1, and then just barely getting away with his life to deny Ona coming back to life thanks to the Renata passive as well. The mid tower still not going to fall just because of the wave clear from Elk. Carrier tries his best. The Mites should be able to secure this. No! Not going to deny that once more. BLG fighting that tower's life. But here we are. Let's look back at the replay.
All right,
Vier
so it
Leute.
starts out, they use both Faker's ulti as well as the Ashe arrow. And as you say, Bin, just as he goes in, gets the
Oh, das
knockdown
Gnade
on 2 of
wegkommt,
them,
Digga.
Carrier and Owner. And so they get the first kill. Knight then arrives on the Smolder, flashing forward to chase them down with his freshly completed Trinity
Ja, da
Force.
macht man nix.
And BLG, I mean, we have seen Smolder scale into terrifying areas for a long time in the last few patches, actually. So we'll see if we can put this to the test here. Carrier knows that one is going to be rough.
Tense situation. The gold finds itself even once more. We'll check out the itemization once we get back. But 2 dragons in the favor of T1. 6 scrubs to the name. 3rd dragon of the game going to be spawning soon. And ultimately it becomes a question of how strong will this smolder get? Can T1 accelerate the game quickly enough before Knight becomes a serious problem? Or can BLG stall the game long enough to get to a point where T1 will run out of options?
Might already be a serious problem as
Gold ist ausgeglichen.
I mean, when you accelerate at the beginning, then you get to even stack much quicker, and so we'll start to see the execute and the burn really come in.
Only 60 stacks short of that 225 mark. Alongside that, BLG helped by the fact it's a chem soul this game. Obviously, you don't want to give the enemy team a soul, but when they've stacked 2 Drakes, giving them a chem soul to let yourself scale isn't as impactful as if it were in Inferno, if it were Hextech. So T1 will be licking their wounds a little bit at that twist of fate. Gumayushi caught with the Mega Inferno Bomb. The wave cleared out in mid as well by Elk. T1 will use the time they have to pressure in towards this blue side jungle. Drake up in 10 seconds. It doesn't look like BLG really want to fight it.
Not necessary for them to do so. Of course, just number 3 here for T1. I think the correct call is we keep on scaling. We got to get our smolder to the break point that you just talked about. And so they're going to push hard on the other side of the map. Definitely the correct choice here with the scaling that they have available to them.
Okay, das ist auch nicht schlecht.
Take away a little bit of the jungle as well while they're at it, but T1, they press ahead.
It's a tense affair. I mean, Medic, you called it earlier. The losing team in every game, 3 kills was the maximum. Well, T1's at 3. One more, and we've got a tense game on our hands.
Well, I also do have to say, I would be willing to bet a lot that this will not be a 27-minute
Jetzt haben sie den Herald erst geholt.
especially with BLG having Smolder plus a Ziggs. The reason why this is such a good pairing as the arrow goes wide, but Faker's still here.
Take a look at that flank. We'll see
Rakan hat Bock. Achso, ne, das ist Faker. Boah, big. Und nochmal Knockout. Perfekt.
Exceptional play from T1. You think that the play falls short because the arrow doesn't connect, but Faker will find a way.
And then with the 6 scrubs, with the rip tail, they immediately take the tower afterwards. And guess what? They're turning straight towards the Baron.
Oh, Rumble!
It's just ticking away.
Oh my god.
Damage. Zeus tries to turn it around, and in the end, BLG unable to hold on to their tier 2. Bin's coming across from the side as well. He TP'd in. T1 have started the round, and you have to feel it all hinges on this. On a knife's edge between T1 and BLG. Will BLG look to try and take the fight? Jun has flash and smite. Elk now joins the battle.
Ja, easy. So.
Looks precarious. Lands the slow with the boomerang. Knight
Okay, jetzt ist...
BLG are going all guns blazing.
Die wollen den Hack. Was machen sie?
Faker eats the bomb and is taken out low. Mega Inferno bomb going in. Zeus will sacrifice himself for the team to make sure the rest of T1 are able to escape with this Baron.
The quick play from T1, the teleport ends up not mattering here from BLG as they only got the 1 kill in the aftermath. T1 just got so much out of this. Faker on the flank, even with the arrow going wide. He makes the play, and T1 finds so much.
I mean, the arrow comes through, it does not connect, but on the right-hand side is Faker. He interrupts the knockup, and then he connects the 2-man charm into then the knockup comes
Jetzt
through
hat er die
from
Ulti
Purna.
gemacht.
The wombo combo is exceptional, and T1 finds some much-needed kills onto the crew. 2 crucial carries of BLG.
Yeah, Faker laid the way for the Renata ultimate there, catching them up. And then Zeus, who had been 2v1ing earlier, goes for the sacrifice here to allow all the other Baron buffs on T1 to remain alive.
Yeah, we've seen so much Bin rumble. I thought it was Bin making the flash, but it was Zeus, and he did have to sacrifice his life up towards the top side of the map. T1, though, immediately back out on the map, and look, they're doing what they did in Game 2, spreading themselves across the map, pushing in top, pushing in mids, And Kobe, you said quite confidently that this game isn't going to end in 27 minutes, but the arrow...
Oh, the sun.
She decides to use it afterwards. Ona couldn't quite get in range to engage any further.
Top lane. Oh, fake up push through.
In the top lane, Shun goes in with the Glacial Prism. Oh. Carrier though, an incredible hostile takeover.
Oh, fake out teleport, okay. Oh, big. Oh, okay, fake out dead. Oh my god, I come back. Oh, nein! Oh, er hat's gedodged.
Yeah, T1 are taking another tower with the 6 Void Grubs as well as the Rift Hill. They keep on forcing these Vedias, even when BLG try and construct their counter. T1 rebuff it. The Renata is just too much defense. Charging into that ultimate seems like suicide.
I mean, I just feel like we're feeling the Faker effect here. He's not at the start of this play. The arrow connected, forcing the summoners out. Then when the range gauge comes through, the TP is quick to follow. Carrier with a fantastic ultimate to force BLG to disengage. And then when Faker arrives, he does not hesitate to dive past the tower and set up the play for him and Gumayushi to tear BLG apart.
Oh, das war big.
At the end, some slim margins there as well. Knight being forced to flash away a critical summoner spell, but T1 are doing a good job, I think, pushing the pace of this game because, as you mentioned, one of the reasons I was confident in saying that I didn't think it would end in 27 minutes, Ziggs and Smolder is such a good combo, and Ziggs wave clear plus the Smolder wave clear and scaling itself in that champion. But because T1 got those 6 Void Grubs that we have been so probably too hyper-focused on,
nächster Dragon,
the
T1.
pushing power that they have shown and really accelerating this game and being able to get their Dragon Soul
Dann noch
as
fast
well
5k
in a very
ahead.
timely manner means we are still on course for that T1 game plan.
And credit to Zeus. 0-3 during the laning phase.
Wenn wir nicht irgendwie was komplett verkacken, haben die das.
Very important Rumble ultimates, and he's going to be important in the upcoming sieges. That tool is great for zoning away the Rumble, for zoning away the Smolder and the Ziggs from providing
alle sehen die Runen?
their towers.
That's so vital. They managed to put that damage
Die
down
Items,
tonight.
wann hat die gekauft? Okay.
Hit that 225 mark. Now sitting at 230 stacks.
Das ist ja geil.
Over to midnight for T1. They are still in the lead. Chemsol, 4,000 gold ahead. 6 Grubs, Baron up in a minute 30 as well. Faker has been on fine form, finding people with the quickness, with those engagers.
Okay.
But BLG can still hold on to the fact they have this wave clear. They also are on championship points, so even if they lose this game, they have another to battle
engage
against T1. Owner forced away with the satchel, but doesn't really take too much damage. The Mega Inferno bomb only clipping onto Carrier as well.
Bombe, Junge.
Say the next like 4-ish minutes of this game will be so critical because, you know, Smolder working towards the rapid fire. That's when you really start to get scared, when you have the poke of the rapid fire Smolder plus the Ziggs. T1, they've got a nice little window here though with a very, very sizable advantage with Dragon Soul plus Baron coming up, which they can try and use to bait BLG out and look for their engages. So many snap engage angles. Faker with a stolen Rakan ultimate at the moment.
Oh.
Looking for Shun.
Oh, okay. Guter Dodge.
He knew something was up. His spider sense was tingling.
Good check there. Good reactions from him. Pops the scryers as well, and T1 can come in to take away all that safety.
Oh no! Manages to get the knock into the wall. Steadfast Presence already been used though.
Das Sun ist auch da.
Hostile takeover coming out. Shun cleansed away by that Mikhail's out of on. In the end, it's just an investment of ultimates from T1. Mikhail's used. Handshake pulls back Elk. Faker trying to get with the quickness of the back line. Gumayushi unable to open up quite yet.
Oh mein Gott, klatsch ihn! Kriegt ihn nicht. Oben.
Out from Zeus will save Owner's life and force BLG away.
It becomes a question of can the Baron be secured, and with Shun down, I believe that the answer is yes. There is no smite available. Elk, crucially, still has his ultimate. But with that, Faker secures his 500th kill at the World Championship.
500 Kills.
Like this, they TP'd Elk into the mid lane, has that Mega Inferno bomb, it's going to hit onto Ona, Fake able to dodge to the side of it, 3,000 HP now on the Baron as BLG advance. T1 have already got the Baron though, and BLG now have to begin to retreat, but the damage coming out from Elk is absolutely massive. Baker,
Oh, geht rein. Okay. Oh, hat schon gelacht. Heftig. Kommt weg.
Baker survives somehow. T1 get out with the Baron, but and BLG are unable to find purchase on the game.
Baker plays a dangerous game.
Digga.
So close to the execution, but he's able to immune it, flashes out, and escapes with his life.
My goodness, Faker has turned it up to 11 in this game 4. He knows the stakes that are in this game, and he does not want to give up the title that easily.
Ah, das ist echt crazy, wie wenig Kills in den Games fallen, ne?
Still have to close this one out. The arrow
Oh,
connects. Not
okay.
quite. Shun flashes away to safety.
BLG
Flash raus.
really got to just keep focusing on their defense here. They do have flashes on both Knight and Elk. So as long as they don't let anyone get caught and give up some
Total damage.
critical summoner spells
6
here early on, if they focus on their wave clear and defense at towers, then T1 really are going to have to make use of this 2 minutes of Baron buff to crack inside and get to those inhibs.
T1 need to get someone in the mid lane. They're going to send Faker over. Rumble is actually going to stay top to catch that wave. Has the TP available. T1 being spread quite thin. Normally they prefer to play that 4-1 setup, but Bin doing a good job of pushing that top wave in deep. Now he can regroup, buy a little bit more time for BLG. Again, the wave clear looking to be strong here from the side of BLG. Knights chipping away. Not doing a huge amount of damage to Ona, but for now, all they need to do is stall.
Juckt das gar nicht.
They're doing exactly that. 90 seconds before the Elder Dragon comes to bear. BLG yet to pick up a Drake in this game, but if they get the Elder, their fortunes may change. They are just trying to defend right now. T1 have been unable to break the base, break that inhibitor line with this Red Bull Baron power play. A minute left on it, but it looks like T1 are going to just look for the resets here, get back out onto the map, get that vision control down once again, and then try and pull BLG into a fight at Elder, because they've got to. You can't just give the Elder away to T1. You have to make your final stand there if you are BLG, and if you win that fight, you might just win Worlds, you might just win the championship. That's how much of a game decider Elder Dragon can be.
I mean, Kobe already talked about the animation. BLG is strong enough to fight. Their carries are in a position, and ultimately comes down to execution. Finding access to this Dragon Pit. Right now, T1 are denying all vision on, doing what he can to find angles of attack. Maybe even a TP flank, but he's been caught.
Oh, Rakan dead. Rakan dead.
Slain by Guma Yushi, and now will BLG even try to mount a defense around the Elder Drake? They TP to the bot lane. Bin looking at that flank position. His Meganar's going to expire soon, and Faker's looking for a flank of his own as he TPs in towards this blue side.
Okay.
This Faker's hunting, and he's looking for another flash. Able to flash away as well. The hostile
hat ihn. Oh, hat er genau gefickt, Digga. Pah! Ja, GG, Digga. Komm her, 6. Du bist fällig. So. Ah, fick die da jetzt. Junge, das ist Level 11. Was willst du tun? Das haben sie.
On the shoulders of Faker, T1 will go to game 5. There is no one like him. Not T1 take us to Silver Straits.
Fuck. 2-2.
Erupts with excitement. What looked like a terrible start for T1 turned miraculously after some incredible plays from that man in the mid lane. Game 5 is what we wanted. Game 5 is what we will get.
Owner Poppy getting a lot of picks in this game as well. Carrier Renata, obviously very big pick, and Baker Silas as we go to the champion select for the deciding game.
Für Kissen? Gegen Schweiß oder was?
2024. This is the way we wanted it. This is the way it was written in the stars and it was promised. We get Silver Scrapes, we get a Game 5, and we get it all between BLG and T1.
It just doesn't get any better than this. It's going to be an incredible finish to such an exciting series. It's all coming down to this one moment that will decide how people talk about you for the rest of your careers.
And I love both these teams so much. Like, they're just so fun to watch. Like, when I first saw the iteration of this T1 roster, previously T1 had this reputation for, like, they're the boring, slow team. It's like, no, this team wants to kick your teeth in. BLG always want to kick your teeth in. This is delivering. We got our Game 5. It's great.
445.000.
Finally, it wasn't as much of a blowout. There was the top lane moment, but crucially, and I know we keep talking about it, but we have to talk about it. It's Faker. That's the difference maker again.
Yeah, and I know that people are always like, oh, they're glazing him again. Well, why would you not? And I think these replays that we're going to see, right, in just a second, it's going to be a good play to a great play to a go play.
Absolutely, and it was so funny when we were watching this. I turned across there and I said, someone on T1 needs to actually step up if they're going to win this game. Not 10 seconds later, solo kill heal from Faker, and it just felt like the momentum really started to swing.
And the big thing for me in this series, we talked about the early game, talked about the level 1, but an even bigger indicator of which team is doing well is which mid laner is making the impact. And in the wins, both Knight and Faker have been absolutely crucial.
They have. We said a good play, a great play, and then the GOAT play. We saw the good one already. Well,